Hey guys, JCSS18 here, and welcome back to my web development tutorial series where I teach you the main three coding languages of the internet: HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So what you see in front of you is a post I made on a website called codepen.io, and it's called How to Make a Cool Loader, or at Keyframes tutorial, which is the main thing we'll be covering today. So as you can see, this is my final product. Well, that's a final product. I actually make two loaders in this tutorial thing that I do, and I thought this would be a fun way to teach you the last little bit of stuff we're doing for CSS. So with that, let's just drop right into it. Alright, so I've got my atom up here again, and let's just create a new file, and we'll call it loader.html. Alright, and I think I'm just going to write the CSS in HTML today, so we will not be making a separate file. So, duck type HTML, language is English. Oh, whoops, that was a screw up. Alright. Really disliking when I do this. I cannot type for the life of me today. Alright, so we'll do title, and then we'll just name this loader tutorial. And we'll do style, since we're writing CSS in the HTML today. Alright, so we've got our basic HTML set up here, and I've got my local host already up here, so we'll just open this file. Let's go /loader.html. Alright, so as you can see, it's blank because we haven't put anything in the body, and that's how it should be. Alright, so, okay, let's get started. So, if you look at the HTML over here, this is literally all we have on the entire page. It's not much, it's not even much to worry about, so I'm just going to copy that really quick, and we'll put it inside Atom, inside the body. Alright, so that's literally all we're going to need for actual HTML code. Everything else is going to be pure CSS, and we're not using any weird extensions or anything like that. So something I feel like I should have covered last time was that you can actually just put the body like this, I'm just going to show you this really quick, and we'll use blue. Oh, whoops, I need to add a property first, that might be important. Alright, so as you can see, just gives us a blue background. Just thought I'd show you that, so you can edit the body just like you edit everything else, but other than that, that's all I have to show you for that. So let's go, and we'll do div, and we'll just set out, just some default styles. So we want to make it a circle, right? So we'll do, it's not going to be the exact same thing as the loader I have on there, but it will be similar. So let's go, and we'll make it, let's make the width, let's make height and width. Set proportions first. We'll do height 100 pixels. And we'll make it a 1-to-1, so it's a circle, 100 pixels. And then we set the border radius to 50%, or 50 pixels here. 50% of the height and width, or 50% of the width, whatever. Either way, we now have a circle div, but we can't see it. So, let's go border. And since it's the only thing we're actually going to see on the... Actually, let's put the border above the border radius. So let's do 10 pixels solid, and then this is just a color I picked up. It's a very nice gray color, so it's solid C2, C4, C6. It's a very nice gray. So that's the exact color I use here if you look. So yeah. Alright. Actually, let's make the border a little bit wider. So let's do 12 pixels. What else? Oh, yeah. Background. No, we don't need that. Alright. I think that's it. Nope, we still have a few other things. So now we go, this is where it gets crazy a bit. So we go animation. Oh, and you're like, oh, whoa, 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 whoa. We're starting animating now, and believe me, it is not actually that difficult. Let's just start this. So let's go animation. We'll name it loader 6.4s ease infinite. And that is a lot to take in once you first start. It's a lot, believe me. So just take a look at this really simply. So just to clear things up, I have this here just so it's not at the very top of the page, and yeah, that's pretty much it for that. Other than that, that's all for HTML. But this is where it gets crazy. So we've got our animation. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything. Oh yeah, margin auto. Let's put it in the middle. Yeah, that'll be it. Yeah, that'll be it. Transition, yeah. And we'll need a transition. Alright. Oh no, 0.4s, 1.4s. Make sure I'm trying not to copy here, but I don't want to screw things up, and I know this one works. Alright. I need to actually put that underneath the margin there. Alright, so we've got our div set up, and if we look at the loader tutorial, we should have, there we go. So that, of course, is pretty boring. So let's just read this. So let's read down here. So animation property tells the code what they. So now we. All right. So let me just So the animation property tells the CSS basically what keyframes to look for, or at keyframes. So let's start. We'll go at keyframes, and we'll name it loader since that's the name of our animation. All right. So we've got our stuff here. So it's 6.4s ease infinite. So that'll give us the exact time the animation will last for. And we played ease, which means it starts off slow and gets faster at the end, but then slows off a little bit. So if you think about it, this is actually just all it is. So I actually have 4 rotations in here, and that's literally all it is. So not trying to show you the answers or here or anything, but that's it for that. So we call it loader, and of course there's other prefixes. I'll get into there. So now we need to set intervals onto the stuff. So if you actually watch the animation, there's 4 different colors if I rerun. So there's blue, red, yellow, green, blue, red, yellow, and green. So we need 4 intervals. So we'll set it to 25%. Whoops. Oh boy, I'm missing keys out here. This is not good. Alright, so we'll just 50%. Just try and make sure these are aligned so it looks clean. You don't have to indent it all, just Atom does it automatically. Personally, I don't really care if it's indented. So, again, coding's personal. Do it the way you want. Make sure, yep, alright. So, with that, did I miss a border top? Yeah, I did. So now we're gonna, I forgot this, but as soon as we're done the border, we're gonna change this. Border top And then we're going to set border top color, because I know how to do this better now. So then we do blue. Alright. So now that gives us, if we reload this, we have the top of the border as blue. Alright, so now we have the set for our loader. So if we scroll down here, we have the intervals again. So we want it to rotate, and it'll do just that. So now let me introduce you to the transform property. So then we just do rotate, and alright. So now we're going to, I want it to rotate twice before it changes the color, so we'll do 720 degrees, and that's how you write it. So then, just explaining really quickly what keyframes are. It basically sets styles for different times in the animation. If that makes sense, it should. So let me read this. Just spelling errors. Really explain what it does. The keyframes properly changes styles based on intervals provided by the developer. Alright, simple enough. I'll change that spelling error later. Sorry that I had that in there. But since it's already turned 720 degrees, we're gonna have to double that. So it's for. I just got out of school, so I don't feel like doing math. But let me just scroll down so I can read these, because I literally finished school the day I recorded this. So. I always do that, right? Trans from, right, and 2880 degrees. Alright, so that gives us our rotation. So if we go up here, this will rotate. Nice. So we've got our rotation set, and that's all fine and dandy, right? But we want it to change color, because if it's just one color, that kind of gets a little boring. So with that, let's go, and we'll add, you can also have other stuff, so do a semicolon, and then, since we're adding a new property, semicolon, and we do border top color, and then I believe it was green, or no, red next, and then we do the same thing, so semicolon, border top color, and then next was yellow, and then it was lime, not green, because green in CSS will actually give you a, lime is the same color as our CSS tut or HTML tut.html, the one we used in our previous 2 tutorial videos. But the green gives actually a much darker color, and I don't really like that in a loader. You want your loader colors to be vibrant. So now we set it back to blue, and that'll be it. And of course the colors are, no, that's right, I have the exact same thing. Never mind, I said it was going to be a little different, but it is not. So that will give us our loader. If we go over here, there we go. The only difference is the border is a little wider. But as you can see, very smooth, very simple too. It barely took us any time at all. But there is something else I wanted to tackle in this one, and it is a much more complicated loader, since that one didn't take us too much time. And there you go. So this one could definitely be a bit more, I know this embed is a little bad because it's kind of big, but it does not matter. So this one is definitely much more complicated, but it still is not that bad. So I'm just gonna delete the loader the stuff we already have for this. But you can see, not very complicated here at all. Very simple loader, and it barely took us any time to make. So let's just let's get rid of this. Get rid of the HTML we currently have. And then I don't feel like really writing all this, so we'll copy that. Because we're here to do CSS. We've already done HTML. So, as you can see, we basically just have 4 divs named class of circle, and then we each give them an ID from 1 to 4. And don't use numbers in IDs because, don't at least start them with a number, because HTML doesn't really, or CSS would be a better thing, doesn't really enjoy that. Other than that though, nothing crazy. Just, do I have too many? No, it just looks bad, but that's right. Okay, so let's just get started. So we'll get rid of all this because there's 4 things. All right, I could have just done div here, but let's go. I believe the first. Oh boy, lots of keyframes up top. All right, so as you can see, fairly simple for here. So I set the border radius, text align center, and margin auto. So that'll give you that easily enough. So let's just do it. Dot circle. Also the background color to white. Border to, I believe, solid C2, C4, C6. And then I didn't set a width there because the width is actually different on every single one of the circles if you look at it. So that's why I didn't set a width there. You can actually only have 2 properties, and then I can just take it from here. So open up Atom, border radius is 50%, text align center, and margin to auto. Alright, oh whoops. Make sure I didn't misspell anything. No, we're good. So that will give us, if we load up loader tutorial, as you can see, we don't have any proportions set. So first thing we're gonna do for that is you can see I have IDs here. So first thing we do is we're going to change 1, and we're gonna set it. I'm gonna set it to, oh boy, the height and width to 240 pixels. Again, make sure to maintain that 1-to-1 ratio, otherwise it won't be a circle. It'll be an oval, and then that'll just look weird with your loader. So then we go, yeah, margin auto, but I already have that on all the circles, so it shouldn't matter. And then things start to get a little crazy. So we got all these weird things, right? So as you can see, I have different color on each side of the border. So just to show you what that looks like, let's go with this, and we'll go border top color, and then we'll go red. And I use the same 4 colors, other than I used a green instead of a lime in this one, just because there are other colors there just to blend with it. We'll do, wait, did I start with the red on top? I can't remember. Yeah, yellow, red, yellow, green, blue. Same order, so we'll do border right color. Pretty sure this is the order I went. Red, yellow, green, border right color. Oh wait, no, that's border left color. And that is, yeah, that'll be blue. Alright, blue. So there you go. That'll do that, and then we just give an animation really quick. Oh boy, I cannot type. Animation. And we'll go, I don't have time because I feel like I'm running out of time. Yeah, 1, 2s linear infinite. Alright, so basically, I don't think I actually explained what this means. This is 1, so that's the name of the keyframes. This is the duration. This is the manner in play. It means linear is no change in speed. It's just the same all the way throughout. And infinite is like the iteration count, how often it's played. And infinite just means it's going to be playing infinitely. So that's how that works. So let me just save this really quick. So that'll bring up on here. Yeah, the other stuff is a little bit weird still. And I don't think I set the... Yeah, never mind. I can't use color because I have to set the... No, let's just do border width because I don't feel like writing that a billion times. And I believe I used 8 pixels, yeah. Alright. So that gives us a nice border that we can actually see. Alright. Nice. So we've got all 4 of our colors, and it'll work pretty well, I think. So next we basically do the exact same thing with 1, 2, and 3. So, and 4, I guess. So let's paste that 4 times, and we'll just change this each time. Oh, whoops. Alright, so that gives us that, except we're not going to have the exact same height and width. We're going to shrink it by 40 pixels each time, just to make sure there's distinction in between, and we're going to shrink the border width by 1 pixel each time. So we'll change that to 6. I'll change that to 5. And shrink that, oh boy. Shrink that to 160. And 120. Alright, so now let's change this a bit. So basically what I did was I took the blue and I made it, instead of being border left, I made it border top. So what I did was this. Alright, so then after this, I just went down 1, and then I made it be green, and then this became blue, and then this became red. Or did I go the wrong way? Yeah, I think I went the wrong way. Let me just check. Yeah, I went the wrong way. So, let me just copy. No copying. Red. Bottom was red. So, yeah. So I need to. So that means. Whoops. Nope, that was border. Yeah, that's right. So. Yeah. So I'm getting confused already. So that means I had red on top. Nope, I'm still getting confused. Oh boy. Yeah, I really should have put these in order. But as you can see, border bottom is red. Yeah. Alright. No, I don't think I did it right there, but I'm just going to fix it now because... Okay, so if blue is on the right, that means, yeah, red should be right, and then this should be green. No, that should be yellow. And there. And then this should be green. I apologize for that confusion. So now, the one that's the border left becomes border top, and then you just continue. So now the top is green, and then yellow is, no, blue is here, red goes here, and then yellow goes there. And then the same, then it repeats. So then the top is yellow on 4. That gives us green, blue, So there. So I fixed that, and now 2 and 4 are actually going to use the same keyframes. So we're just going to call it 2, 4. And I'll get to why I wrote it like that once we get into JavaScript. But basically, it's like naming variables, how I did it with this. So we'll name it 3, and then we'll name it 2, 4 again. Alright, so we've got our circles. If I save this and load up here. Alright, so now we just have to space them out properly. And the way I did that was, I'm just going to take the 6 for 2, 7, 10 for 4. Alright, so margin top is a property that allows you to just change position of stuff on page. And I love margin top because then you can actually position it exactly where you want on page. So 6% here, and then we had it at 7% for 3, and then 10% for 4. Alright, so now we should have a nice looking loader. Alright, so there you go with that. Of course, nothing's actually moving, but as you can see, I did actually fix it properly this time. So hooray for me. So now, let's start turning. Let's actually add the keyframes. So add keyframes 1. Oh, whoops. I already had that stuff there for me. And since there's actually only one spinning thing, we could actually use just the 1 interval. But I set 2 just to be like really clear with stuff. So we'll do transform. And since we're not actually changing colors here, it should be very, very simple. Rotate. And we're just doing 360 degrees. Oops. And then 100% will be, oh, that's 1000%. No, I don't want that. 100% will be rotate. Oh, no, wait, no. Rotate 0 degrees. That'll be 100. And we need to write transform first. I'm really showing all my errors that I make when I'm coding, when I'm doing these. Like, these are just common errors that I'll do. Alright. Shows why you need to really make sure that you're checking your program for bugs. Alright. So now we do the keyframes for 2, 4. And this is where things get a tiny bit more complicated, but it's still not that bad. So we add the intervals again, 0%, and then we go transform, rotate 0 degrees, and then 100%. Okay, so right. So we'll write the transform again. And this is where things get a little complicated, because not only do we want to turn in the opposite direction with these two, the opposite direction is 1 and 3, we also, 1 and 3 will both be turning themselves in the other direction, so we have to go negative, and if we do negative 360 degrees, then it'll just be like it's not spinning because we have a thing spinning or holding it down in the opposite direction, so we have to actually put it at negative 720 degrees. Alright, simple enough still though. So now let's add 3, add keyframes 3. This video is getting long, but try and trim down the parts where I'm getting confused. So when we do transform again, rotate 0 degrees, and then 100%, we transform, do, again, we got the thing turning around it, and we want to turn the opposite direction of negative 720 degrees to make it look like we're turning 360 degrees. So we rotate 720 degrees. And that should do it. If we load up our loader tutorial, there you go. And of course the things aren't positioned perfectly, but I actually like the little movement. I actually like it. So there you go. That is your loader tutorial, and that's pretty much it for that. That's really all I think I need to teach you for CSS. You can scroll through this tutorial if you want. And yeah, that's pretty much it for that. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll be back soon with the jQuery tutorial. We'll be going into that before we go into JavaScript, just because jQuery, it actually involves websites and stuff at the very beginning, and JavaScript can be kind of heavy to start off with, just jumping straight from HTML and CSS. So I think I'll teach you jQuery just so you can get a feel for kind of how JavaScript works before we go straight into the full thing. Alright, thanks for watching, and as always, I will see you next time.